Every time a new AI like Google's Gemini drops, there's this one huge question that starts bouncing around every office. Well, a team of marketing consultants just had to face that question head on. And the way they found the answer might just change how we all think about our jobs. Let's get into it. Right? This is it. This is the big one. It's that nagging question that I think we're all asking ourselves. Am I about to become obsolete, or am I about to get a serious upgrade? This consulting team had to find out, and not just for themselves, but for their clients. And they had to know now. So to get that answer, they immediately hit a massive wall. The old, traditional way of doing market research. See, they needed to get inside the heads of marketing pros to see how they really felt about AI. But getting that kind of deep insight has always been super expensive and super slow. With the old way, you always run into these three classic problems. First, there's the whole speed versus depth thing. You can get answers fast or you can get good answers, but you pretty much never get both. Then just finding the right experts to talk to can feel impossible. And even if you manage all that, you're left with a mountain of data, just drowning in information, trying to find a pattern. It was just a mess. And let's talk about one of the biggest roadblocks: money. A typical research project to answer this kind of question could easily cost up to $25,000. I mean, that's a huge chunk of change that puts this kind of deep understanding totally out of reach for most people. Okay, and if the price tag doesn't scare you off, the timeline probably will. 6 weeks. In the world of AI, 6 weeks is practically an eternity. By the time you finally get your report, the whole game could have changed, making your very expensive insights totally out of date. So the team decided to do something completely different. Instead of spending weeks trying to track down real people, they used an AI platform called Antipica.ai to just simulate an entire market of professionals. And this, right here, is where the story gets really interesting. So how does this actually work? It's really a simple 3-step deal. First, the AI creates these incredibly detailed, authentic profiles of different professionals. Then, it actually interviews them, having these deep conversations. And finally, it does all the analysis for you, finding the key patterns and insights instantly. And we're not talking about generic marketer bots. No way. The AI created 8 totally distinct personas that covered the whole range of the industry. You had Alex, the tech-savvy innovator who's all in, and then you had Sam, a more skeptical agency CEO. It created this perfect little microcosm of the real world. And because these AI personas felt so real, the interviews dug up these deep, almost emotional insights. This wasn't just surface-level stuff. It uncovered genuine worries, like the fear of losing a unique brand voice. That's a real human concern that a simple survey would just completely miss. So this new way of doing things led to a result that is, well, it's pretty mind-blowing. When you put the old way of doing research next to this new AI-powered way, the difference is just staggering. Just look at this. I mean, seriously. What used to take 6 to 8 weeks was now done in 20 minutes. And what used to cost up to $25,000 now costs about $10. This isn't just a small improvement. This changes the entire game. And the time and money, that's just the headline. The real game changer was access. You go from a tiny pool of people you can actually reach to basically any professional persona you can dream up. And the analysis? It goes from this long, painful manual process to instant automated reports. Every single one of those old pain points just vanished. So what did they actually get in those 20 minutes? Not just some bullet points. They got a 3,500-word strategic report. They got a breakdown of the market into 3 clear groups: the innovators, the pragmatists, and the skeptics. And they discovered this amazing insight they called the 80-20 augmentation rule, the idea that you let AI handle 80% of the repetitive work so humans can focus on the crucial 20% of strategy and creativity. That led directly to a practical 5-phase playbook for their clients: real strategy in minutes. But, the biggest discovery here wasn't really about the tech at all. It was about us. It was about the huge shift in thinking we all need to make to succeed now. The answer to that very first question was finally coming into focus. After all the data, all the personas, and all the analysis, one single powerful idea cut through all the noise. It was something that totally reframed the entire debate about AI and jobs. And there it is. That's the answer. The real threat isn't the technology itself. The threat is just standing still. This isn't about AI versus humans anymore. It's about the professionals who learn how to use these incredible new tools versus the ones who don't. Your competition isn't the machine. It's the person who's mastered the machine. And here's the most beautiful, kind of ironic part of this whole story. This huge insight about how we should think about AI was discovered by using AI. The tool itself made the strongest possible case for why we need to adopt it, by delivering a critical insight that would have been incredibly slow and expensive to find any other way. So all of this leaves us with one final question that's way more important than the one we started with. It's not if AI will change your job. We're way past that. Now that you've seen what's possible, the real question is for you. How are you going to adapt?